Hi guys, welcome to my channel Learn Swedish with me. My name is Emily, and for today's video guys, this will be the last part of learning pronouns or Swedish pronouns. So I have made the first two episodes, which is the episode 2.0, which is all about subjective and objective pronoun, and the other one, which is the reflexive pronoun. That is our episode 2.1. If you guys haven't watched that one, I would suggest that you watch it first before watching this video. But if you guys are already familiar with subjective, objective, and reflexive pronoun, then you don't have to watch those first two parts. But for those of you who are interested to watch those first, I'll be leaving the link down below or on the card on top for you guys to just click. So right now, since we have already talked about three other pronouns, let's move on to the last one, which is the possessive pronoun. So if you guys are interested to learn more about Swedish language, then just keep on watching. Okay, so for this one guys, I'll be posting this one. I'll take a picture and I'll be posting it here, so you have the list already. So on the first part of the video, I have mentioned about two kinds of words here in Sweden, which is the et word and the n word. So I would really suggest that you watch the first part if you don't know the et word or the n word yet. Okay, just to be quick, these are the kind of words that, just like in English, we have a and an word. In Swedish, we also have et and n word, though most of the time the word is n. So yeah, if you don't know, then you can just guess that it's n, then you might get it right. Anyways, why is n word and et word really so important in learning the possessive pronouns? It's because if you're going to use a possessive pronoun, the form of the possessive pronoun depends if the word is an et or an n word. So okay, just like this example here, I'll just maybe take a video so it's like easier. Okay, so in English guys, we have the possessive pronouns such as mine or my, your or yours, hers or her, his or his still, and we have its, and we have our or ours, we have theirs or their, and we have your or yours, but in a plural form. In English or in Swedish, we also have the same thing, but the only difference is that if the word is an et word, it has a different spelling for the possessive pronoun. If the word is an n word, it also has different spelling for the possessive pronoun. And if it's plural, then we also have a different spelling for it. Okay, so like let's say for example, with n word, if you will say mine or my, it will be min. But if it's an et word, it will be mitt. But if it's plural, it will be mina. So you see, that's why it's very important to know if the word is an et word or an n word. Okay, so for us to understand it better, the differences on how to use the specific possessive pronoun, we will be using three different words as an example. For the n word, we will be using en lägenhet, and the et is ett hus. And for the plural, we will be using restauranger, or restaurants. So en lägenhet, that is an apartment, ett hus, that is a house, and restauranger, that is restaurants. Okay, so first, let's use the word my apartment. My apartment. So if you will say that in Swedish, that will be min lägenhet. Min lägenhet. You cannot use mitt lägenhet because it's not an et word. You cannot use mina lägenhet because it's not plural. You're not referring to a lot of apartments. Okay, so that's why it will be min lägenhet. But if you will say my house, then you have to use mitt hus. Mitt hus. Okay, so if it's my house, then you have to use mitt hus. Mitt hus. Because a house or hus is an et word. So it will be mitt hus. But what if you're referring to a lot, let's say restaurants, a lot of restaurants. So it will be mina restauranger. Mina restauranger. By the way, guys, restaurant is a N word. So that is en restaurang. So if you will say my restaurant and you're just referring to one, then you have to say min restaurang, because you're just referring to one. But if you're referring to two or more, then it will be mina restauranger. Mina restauranger. So can you see the difference now? If it's an N word, you have to use min. If it's an et word, you have to use mitt. If it's a lot, then you have to use mina. But okay, another example, let's move on to your and yours, which is din, dit, and dinna. Okay, let's stick with the example of restaurants and house. Since let's not use the apartment anymore, since restaurant is also an N word. Let's just use restaurant and house. Like for example, you will say your restaurant, which is only one, your restaurant. Then you have to say din restaurang, because restaurant or restaurang is a N word. So you cannot say dit restaurang. That will be wrong because it's not an et word. So you have to say din restaurang. But if you're referring to a lot of restaurants or your 5 restaurants, like it's a lot, then you have to say dina restauranger. Dina restauranger. But if you will say your house, so since house is et word, as we said before, it will be ditt hus. Ditt hus. So simple, really quick and easy. So now, what if you will say her house? Then you have to say hennes hus. And no matter if the word is en or et, or if it's a lot or just one, you will say hennes. So hennes restauranger, hennes restaurang, hennes hus, or hennes lägenhet, like same thing. That's very easy. It's just hennes, it's hers. What about if it's his? Then you just have to say hans. If it's et word, n word, or plural, it still be hans. Hans restauranger, hans restaurang, hans hus, hans lägenhet. I mean, same thing. You don't really have to be worried about that because it's just one form. It's just hans. With it, even if it's an et word or an n word or plural, it will still be des. I hope you're following me though. That's one of the easiest. So now let's move on to something that has differences again. What if you're referring to our or ours? So if it's a restaurant, which is an N word, for example, our restaurant, one restaurant, our restaurant, then you will say vår restaurang. Vår restaurang, our restaurant. Let's say you have a lot of restaurants, then you will say våra restauranger. So guys, in the plural form with the mina, dina, våra, those words, guys, even if it's an et word or an n word, as long as it is plural, it doesn't really matter. You still have to use the plural form. So n and et doesn't matter. It only matters if you're referring to a single thing, a single word. So if you will say our house, that will be vårt hus. But if you will say our houses, then it will be våra hus. So see the difference? Or vårt hus for like our house, and våra hus for our houses. Or vår restaurang for our restaurant, and våra restauranger for our restaurants. So yeah, I hope you are following and you're catching up. So the next one is if it is your or yours. So if it's your restaurant, it will be restaurang. Restaurang. If it's your house, it will be ert hus. Hus. But if it will be your houses or your restaurants, then it will be era hus or era restaurang. If it will be like your restaurants or something which is plural, it will be era restauranger. Okay, so I hope you're following. And then now, last but not the least, it's their or theirs. We also have like same thing for ett-word, n-word, and plural. It's just deras, like deras hus, deras restauranger, deras restaurang. It's same thing. So it's just super duper simple. So now, aside from learning all this n-word, ett-word, plural for my, mine, and stuff, like all of these part of the verb, or of the plural, I mean, we also have another reflexive, I know guys, another reflexive type of possessive pronoun. So these are, I mean, still same thing, min, mit, mina, din, dit, dina, but the difference is we have sin, sit, sina again, just like the previous topic we have regarding the reflexive. Okay, what will be the differences when it's reflexive like this for a possessive pronoun? So like for example, in English, let's say, you will say, she loves her husband. Then you have to say, hon älskar sin man. Hon älskar sin man, which means she loves her husband, her own husband. But if you will write it this way, hon älskar hennes man. Like on the first topic, we talked about hennes, which means objective pronoun, hennes or her. In English, it still translates into she loves her man. But in Swedish, this second sentence means that she loves someone else's husband. Hon älskar hennes man. She loves someone else's husband. Although same sentence, same translation in English, she loves her husband, but different meaning in Swedish. If you will say she loves her husband, her own husband, it should be hon älskar sin man. But if you will write hon älskar hennes man, then it means she loves someone else's husband. Okay, so I just really wanted to explain this sentence way clearer. So in the first sentence, hon älskar sin man, it means that she loves her own husband. Because as you can see, we use sin, which refers to hon, which means that the girl loves her own husband. But on the second sentence, hon älskar hennes man, the hennes here refers to her, but to another girl. So the second sentence means that she loves another girl's husband or another woman's husband. So she loves her man, but not her own man, but someone else's. So if hon loves her man, and it means that she loves her own man, then we need to use a reflexive possessive pronoun, which is sin. So hon älskar sin man, which means that she loves her own husband and not someone else's husband. So another example is if you will say, in English you would say, he is cleaning his house or his own house. Okay, the sentence is like he is cleaning his own house. So in English you would say, he is cleaning his house. You don't really have to say his own house, okay? So in Swedish you will write it as han städar sitt hus. Han städar sitt hus. So you will know directly that he is cleaning his own house. But if you will write it as Han städar hans hus, then it means that he is cleaning someone else's house. So if the person is cleaning his or her own house, then you have to use sitt, not hans or not hennes. So you see the difference of the two. So if you will say, I am cleaning my room. Jag städar mitt rum. Jag städar mitt rum. If I will say, I'm cleaning your room, I can say, jag städar ditt rum. So for example, if they are cleaning their own room, you can say it as de städar sitt rum. De städar sitt rum. So you can see the difference. If it's a reflexive, if it's something that you're doing for yourself. If the possessive form is referring to the owner itself or the speaker itself, then you have to use the reflexive form in this side. I mean, I'll just be putting some stickers or arrows. Yeah, those are the differences between the normal like possessive pronouns or the reflexive possessive pronouns. And by the way, guys, all of these reflexive part of the possessive pronouns, they can never be used as the subject. Yeah, that's like basically it for the possessive pronouns. I hope you guys understand something. If you're confused with anything, feel free to ask me down below on the comment section. And if you want more sentences on this, we can tackle more on the upcoming video, if or give out more sentences, more example sentences. But for now, just try to focus on the words, try to memorize all of these words. And the next topic that we will be talking about on the episode 3 will be the en and et word, because that's one of the most important thing as well in learning the basic Swedish, because then everything really has, I mean, et and en word really affects a lot on the Swedish grammar. So yeah, we'll be talking more of these words. But for now, that's it for our lesson. This is everything for the episode 2. So episode 2 is it is divided into 3 parts. So please feel free to watch the first 2 episodes or the first 2 part of the episode 2 if you haven't watched it yet. So that's it for our video, guys, and we'll proceed to the et and en word on the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you on my next one. And if you want to learn Swedish, learn Swedish with me. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.